All right, so I'm going to thank you guys for making it to the podcast. Episode 1, by the way. I don't even have a name for it. Right now, we're just going to call it Ricky's Podcast or something like that. We'll come up with the name later. First episode. But I guarantee you, you're going to want to pay attention to the information I'm getting ready to give to you guys. This is extremely valuable. And I'm going to keep this as short as possible. We're not going to fill this up with fluff. It's just going to be short, sweet, straight to the point, things you can take away and you can actually act upon them, because none of this matters. All this is an idea. Okay, but if you can't turn that idea and put action behind it, you won't get a result. I give you guys actionable things that you can take and take these ideas, turn them into action so you can actually get results. And the only thing that I ask in return is when you guys do get a result, when you implement some of the things I'm going to tell you and you actually get some results that you're looking for, just share this with somebody you know. That's all. Just share with somebody you know, somebody you genuinely want to help out. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about, I'm going to get my key points here. See, again, episode number 1. So I put together a little script here, right? I just kind of wrote it down. Like, people don't like using scripts. I don't know why. I got to be stable. Now, as I use this thing over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes fluent, but you need to have a foundation. So some of the key points we're going to talk about is how to effectively stay top of mind, right? That's a big deal. And then also, too, is how to craft your messages with scarcity and urgency, because that actually gets people to make a decision. So think about it. Your job is not to build the vehicles. Your job is to sell the vehicles. That's a skill. So how do you communicate to people to where you can get somebody to take an action, come into the store so you can convert them and then turn them into a sale? So scarcity and urgency are two different things. Most people don't know that. They're measured differently. Scarcity and urgency are measured differently. Scarcity is measured through units. Urgency is measured through time. So think about scarcity for a second. When I say scarcity, think about the car market for the last year. There was more demand than there was actually supply. And what you've seen is salespeople and dealers this has been probably one of the most successful times, really, for them to really make some money, right? I know salespeople making 30 grand a month. I mean, it's crazy. You know, they didn't do that before COVID, okay? It just didn't happen. Grosses went up. You can raise your price. That's the power of urgency, or scarcity, I'm sorry. Now, urgency is measured through time, meaning, hey, we got 100 of these trucks, but the manufacturers are going to give us some bonus tags for the next month, and you get this incentive. Maybe it's 0% or whatever. You start selling more trucks, or you start selling more cars from that, right? What you've done is you've implemented a message that allows someone to actually take an action that they feel is valuable to do it right now. That's essentially what it is. So I'm gonna give you guys when it comes to being top of mind and staying top of mind, I'm gonna give you guys a formula. Omnipresent plus messaging equals sales. You can't have a message. I want you to do this, but nobody hears you, okay? You won't get any sales. You can't be omnipresent. I mean, you show up here, you're there, you're all over the place, right? But you don't have a message, right? They're not clear on what they should do. You're not telling them to do anything. You know, they're not even clear on what you do actually, right? They don't even know what you do. You got to be omnipresent, and you got to have a message, right? We're going to use urgency and scarcity together to get someone to actually convert, which is going to equal out the sales. So always remember that formula. I want to give you guys an example. I'm going to give you guys a story here. It's a true story, by the way. But I want you to look at this, and I want you to really get what I'm getting at here. I want you to really get what I'm laying down. Currently, right now, I'm dealing with a custody battle with my daughter's mom, right? So for an example, I am arguing the fact that I should have more time with her. She doesn't believe so. I believe it's the time that she sees her versus what I see is disproportionate. She doesn't think that way, okay? If I don't solve that problem, the damage that I will receive from it is extremely painful, right? Me seeing her grow up to be 18, and she recognizes me as, like, you know, that one cousin you see 3 times a year, right? You guys get on the phone, everything's good, right? But you're not really there, if you get what I'm saying. You know, the painfulness of that potentially happening if I don't solve this problem is like level 10. If I need for an example, I run out of pens, right? I use pens all the time. If I run out and I need a new pack, I can just go on Google, type in pens, right? And pretty much order from anybody. I'm not really doing too much research because it's a commodity, right? So it's just a pen. Nothing can go wrong from it. It's just a pen. But if you think about, on the flip side, that me being alienated, as how I would feel, right, in my words, will be alienated from my daughter. I mean, versus just not having a pen, right? This is more painful than this. This is like, on a scale of 1 to 10, If I wake up and don't have a pen right in front of me, I mean, it's going to be annoying if I need it, right? But ultimately, I can get it once I get done doing whatever I'm doing, run to the store and grab it. And I can pretty much get it anywhere. I can order it on Amazon. I can get it from the store. So I have options. So that pain level is probably number two. It's probably a number two, but not because it's annoying, right? Over here, this is going to be like level 10, okay? Because me being alienated from my daughter is painful, okay? And for any parent, doesn't matter who you are. So I'm not just going to do a Google search. I'm going to want to see what you will have to communicate to me that I should have the utmost confidence that you will be able to deliver the result I am looking for. I cannot risk you screwing this up, right? I can't risk you messing this thing up. You got to get it right the first time. I need an expert. I may do a Google search and just look around, but really what I'm looking for other people who are similar to me or who have a similar situation, and I'm looking to see, and the ones that had success, I'm looking to see who are their attorney. I want to talk to them, right? I don't want to do a Google research and just call up and risk it and wing it. This is too big of a problem. When you're omnipresent, as a matter of fact, before I even get into that, I had a referral from a guy that had a similar situation, and he recommended the opposing party. I mean, think about it. This guy's so good. So, like, the guy that's giving a referral about him is the guy he went against, right? He's that good, right? But the guy's like, you know what? You got to give this guy a try. He wasn't my lawyer, but dude, he tore me apart. He's good, right? He gives me that referral. I get it. I keep it in my back pocket. I'm like sold on it. I'm like, dude, I'm calling this guy. This is the guy. Thankfully, I ran across this person, right? We used to sell cars together, and he actually got me into finance. So thankfully, we had that relationship because I'm disregarding Google right now. I don't care about anything that's going on Google right now. I got a guy that I know for sure that has gotten a result similar to my situation. Okay. That person still lost to the guy that was omnipresent. So while I was doing those Google searches before I called this guy that I got a referral on, that I was 1000% sold on, this is who the guy I'm going to work with. While I'm on the internet, another guy's following me from my original search. And I'm seeing them constantly. You got to think about it. On average, people spend about 3 hours a day on the internet, right? That's just not social, right? You going on CNN right now and you're looking up information on the news. For an example, for me, right? Part of my job is to make cold calls every day. I deal with a lot of names. Some of the names I can't pronounce. I've never seen them before. So I got two screens. I got dual screens where I can go in on one screen, and while I'm making the dial, I can actually real quickly type in the name and hear a pronunciation from Google on how to say the name. While I'm doing that, people are putting messages in front of me. They're trying to get me to do something. They're staying top of mind. As a matter of fact, out of all the people that are doing it, there's one person that I can think of right now. And that guy that guy is good. That guy stayed top of mind for a specific problem that I want to solve. Maybe I didn't want to solve it right then and there. Maybe I did at the time and I changed my mind, right? And now 6 months later, heat up again, and now I'm ready to make a move. And now when I'm thinking about making a move, think about when you're buying a vehicle, okay? The first thing you think about, drive from work, see a dealership and be like, oh, I'm getting ready to buy a vehicle, and you pull right in and you buy a car. No, it doesn't work that way. There are different points that you do some research, because all you're trying to do right now is you're trying to gather information to actually make a decision on whether you should buy, whether you can buy, and what do you want if you can, right? That's the decision that you guys are making. So you're going online to get information. Well, if you're looking to buy a car, the first thing you're going to think about is who can help me come to a decision, okay? So I'm thinking about buying, let's just say, I want an SUV because I have a family. Let's say I want an SUV, for an example. If I'm broad, I know I want an SUV. Okay, so you can serve up messages that are based around that. But if I know I want a 2020 Traverse, if I know that for sure, then now I'm getting a little bit more granular, and the messages that I serve to that person is going to be a lot more contextual. So this guy, I showed or identified myself as being in market for a problem. He has shown up multiple times over and over and over and over again. I still got the other guy in my pocket, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to do business with this guy. But this guy got my attention for a little bit. I forget about this guy for a little bit. I don't even call him yet. I forget. Now I start doing my research on this guy, and guess what? I see testimonials about people having similar situations. He's helping them out, and they're getting results from it. Everybody loves him. What just happened? This guy who was omnipresent and also had a message got my business. I didn't even price out the other guy, even though I knew for sure that this is what I'm going to go with. This guy in my pocket right here is what I'm going to go with. This guy distracted me for a little bit, got me in a daze like everybody does, right? Sometimes, you just like, you see something on TikTok or something, you're like, whoa, or you're on Facebook or whatever, and you're like, whoa, you stop for a little minute and you start going through it, Twitter, whatever. He got my attention. He stayed omnipresent. And then I was able to still have confidence in him because he brought the testimonials to me. So he set the stage, right? That's why it's important that you guys be omnipresent and also have a message at the same time, and also understand and realize how painful on a scale of 1 to 10 is it that if they don't solve this problem, which is get this vehicle or buy this caddy or buy this Traverse, how painful is that? And the more painful it is, because people come in and buy cars for different reasons. Some people just want a car. Some people just have an extra money and they just want to buy a car. Some people have seen their buddy drive down the street and he had a brand new truck and he's like, I want a brand new truck. He can have a brand new truck. I want a brand new truck, right? So he buys a truck. That pain may not be as painful as someone who just got into a wreck going back and forth and they need a car ASAP and they want to Traverse. That gal needs to know that pain by not having that vehicle, risking income, is going to be higher on the scale. Let's say 7, 8, 8-ish, 9-ish, right? Versus the person just wants a car maybe around 4 or 5-ish. These people are going to want to know for sure, not just from seeing you all the time, but also knowing that you guys can produce the results. They would need to have the utmost confidence in that you guys can show up and be the professionals and deliver them exactly what they're looking for at the right price, right? And the right price doesn't always mean cheap. You can be too expensive on because the product doesn't offer as much. People will say this is too much money and go out and buy this. It's too much money for this, right? But it ain't too much money for this up here, right? So you got to understand that. But what I want you guys to take away from this podcast is you got to be omnipresent all the time. You also have to have a messaging. You have to use scarcity. You have to use urgency. When you're becoming omnipresent, or when you want to be in that category, that stage, you need to make sure you understand your distribution channels, right? So you need to understand that, I'm going to use Facebook, I'm going to use TikTok, I'm going to use Snapchat, I'm going to use Instagram, I'm going to use Twitter, I'm going to use the internet, right? There's a tool called adroll.com. Look it up, adroll.com, ADROLL.com. They allow you to show up in areas on the internet besides social media, besides YouTube, besides Facebook, okay? Think about it for a second. Most people spend 3 hours a day on the internet. That doesn't mean that they're on social media. If they're on their desktop, they're probably doing what I was doing. I'm selling. I'm making phone calls, right? I need to learn how to pronounce this guy's name in 45 seconds. I'm looking that information up. While I'm looking that information up, there's messaging getting pushed in front of me by this system, right? I leave that screen up while I'm doing whatever I'm doing on the left side of the screen. While I'm in the middle of the call, I'm still looking. This guy, gal, company are staying top of mind. Okay, so that's crucial that you guys understand that. But again, if you guys found some value in this episode, you found some value in some of the things that we just discussed, go ahead and share this with somebody you think that can take this, implement it, and roll and start getting a result, man. I want to see everybody get a big bang. Appreciate it, and talk to you guys later. Take care.